Hey everybody, it's Shelly Kramer, and we're here for this week's edition of B3 Live, welcoming you. So glad to have you here. And I'm excited today because a longtime friend is here, and we're going to talk about e-commerce, which I love. And so I want you to welcome with me my friend Chris Nielsen, and Chris is the e-commerce manager for Aristocrat Motors, which is located in Kansas City, and they have clients and do business all over the United States. And we're going to talk about how the fast-paced luxury environment is how the variables that are involved there are different than other businesses, other verticals. And what Chris focuses a lot on is the customer experience, and that customer experience, everything from what happens before a customer comes in the store, when a customer comes in the store, what happens in the social media space, all of those different customer touch points. So Chris, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you didn't really have a choice. I kind of, twisted your arm,
Oh, it's
twisted
hard to
your
say no to
arm.
you. It's like, digital marketing mafia. You can't say no. I gotta
I
follow.
like it. I like it when people can't say no to me. That's wonderful. Okay, so tell us a little bit about, what I think is super interesting is that you're really young, and you're young and you're in a job where you're dealing with some pretty high level customers, you're dealing with some pretty high level needs from a customer experience need. And so I love your story just in terms of, you were in college, you graduated, you were getting ready to graduate, you lined up this job. So tell the millennials among us how it was you were thinking, what it is that you did to go after this kick-ass job, and, kind of give us your backstory if you would.
Oh my gosh. So I have a really neat opportunity to have a lot of experience, but I'll give you a little bit of background. I grew up in the auto industry. So my mom is the current general manager of a Mazda dealership in Lee Summit, has been there for 35 years. My dad was in the auto industry my whole life growing up. He's actually from Denmark and moved back to Denmark recently, where my half of the family on his side is. But I really grew up around it. And then when I was 15 or 16, I was looking for some work, and I didn't want to work for my parents. So I went down to a local Toyota dealership and got a job washing cars, and just started off right there. And after working there for a year, they actually asked me to run their rental counter. So they have loaner vehicles for service
Mhm.
customers and things like that. And so I managed the rental counter for a couple of years. And then when I was 18, I really wanted to go on the retail side and sell cars and experience the consumer interaction of purchasing a car. And I sold actually at my mom's store for 3 years. Really loved it. Had a great time there. Loved interacting with the customer and doing all of that thing. And that was kind of along the time that the internet was coming along. And back then, salespeople in auto dealerships treated customers who requested via the internet as not real. They're 11-year-old kids sitting in their underwear, researching about a car, just pestering car dealers because the only customers really walk in the door. Nobody researches online or anything like that. And given this was like 5, 6, 7 years ago, but I started handling their online space and answering the customers digitally and responding and setting appointments. And all of a sudden, I started selling 3, 4 times what the second place salesperson was selling. So all of a sudden, people started being like, "Oh, well, maybe this is a thing," and then
And
that
you're
kind
a
of
kid,
decentralized. Yeah,
right? And
exactly. I
you're a
was
kid.
19,
And you
20. It was
Right.
pretty good. I
That's
I didn't
awesome.
I didn't hurt for pizza money that much in college, just selling cars on the summer. So it was kind of nice. But to kind of go off of that, while I was in college, I got a job with Mazda North American operations as an intern on the manufacturer side. So I actually got to work with Mazda North America and do some marketing initiatives and do a lot of marketing program rollouts while I was there. The other thing, this was really fortunate for me, was while I was at KU, social media was kind of in its infancy. Facebook had been around for a couple of years, but people weren't really leveraging it for groups or organizations that well yet. And then
Mhm.
Twitter was like brand new.
Right.
So I had a lot of extracurriculars, and my GPA wasn't like a 4.0 to reflect that. But I had a lot of organizations that I worked with at KU. Specifically, I worked with the Alumni Association, and I was the homecoming chair in 2010, responsible for communications. So we had this huge, 100-year tradition, and we birthed a Twitter account and social media following for that. And I kind of cut my teeth just experimenting for clubs and groups at KU. And then, kind of as I was getting close to graduating, I went to a good friend and neighbor of mine, and you actually know him. His name's Marion Vitale. He's the president of this auto group, and he lived down the street from my mom. And I know he was the president of this auto group, so I was like, "Hey, Marion, how you doing? I'm looking for work after college, like everyone else, graduating college at the time, and could you give me some contact information for the brands we sell, like Mercedes, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar?" And he said, "Yeah, but you don't want to go to the manufacturer side." He goes, "You're going to want to work on the retail side." And he actually developed and was looking for somebody to do digital marketing specifically for the auto group. So after weighing my options and everything, I took a job here, and it started out just managing the community, so building a Facebook presence, building a Twitter presence. I was really fortunate because they didn't have any halfway efforts that they had kind of done leading up, so I get to really have a fresh start in it. Mm-hmm. And I really took after it and started enjoying it. And over the last part of my career here, I've kind of moved into doing that, but also developing our digital strategy, our web presence, our websites, all of our online advertising, all of our search stuff, and all the stuff that funnels traffic to our websites to generate that business. I also manage our customer service team. One group is the internet sales team. They sell cars online, so they take requests and do what I did when I was 19, 20, and answer email leads and things like that, and set appointments for customers and try to sell cars. And then I also manage our customer service team, which is a group of about a dozen individuals that all they do is take care of the customer after the sale. They set up service appointments, they follow up with issues, they make sure that customers have cars to drive when there's cars in the shop, that there's a shuttle driver if they need it. So getting to manage the experience afterward is something I came into kind of recently.
That's
and then,
cool.
Without going into too much more extra detail, having the opportunity to be in the social media club of Kansas City, right out of college, and going to all the great content that they put on, and then actually working my way up to being president now has been awesome parallel to help me gain some insight that I probably wouldn't get if I just stayed in the automotive vertical.
Well, I think that your backstory is pretty interesting, and obviously you have the automotive business in your blood, and it's just so great to hear that you had a vision and you went after it, and you're a smart guy. You're a smart guy. Well done.
Yeah,
okay.
My only advice to millennials is to pick a career you want when you're 13, 14, and then work in it for 10 years. No, that's terrible advice.
Well, but it is, your passion for this business is very obvious. It's very clear to see, and I imagine you could probably talk your way into any job in this business that you wanted. So tell Marion to watch out.
Thank you for that.
Okay, or have him call me and I'll tell him. Okay, so what I'd like to talk about a little bit now is the business of creating engaging content for this particular niche, this particular luxury buyer. So talk to us about kind of the challenges that you deal with and what your solutions are. And I'm also interested in, in terms of your content strategy and the mix of content that you develop, how much of it is rich media, how much of it is written content, that sort of thing. So let's hear about that.
Yeah, so I'll start off with a statistic that Porsche published maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and this will kind of set the tone for this. They do a whole bunch of advertising in every vertical, whether it's traditional, digital, whatever, but they wanted to figure out who did their content really hit with, who was the number one person that was most influenced by the stuff that Porsche puts out or by their brand. And they determined that the person most influenced by the marketing that they put out was a 13 or 14-year-old boy. Well, as we know, 13 or 14-year-old boys cannot buy Porsches. A, you have to be 18 to purchase a car, and B, 13 or 14, your income isn't probably supportive of buying a car like that. But it's important for me to say that fact because when I'm talking about building online communities and creating content to engage them, I have to recognize that there's an 80-20 split in our community. 80% of the people that follow our page and like them are aspirational buyers or brand enthusiasts. They love the brands we sell. They're Porsche race fans. They're Mercedes-Benz Formula One fans that follow the racing every weekend. They love Range Rover product, whether it's from a diehard off-road standpoint or just from the brand and the image that it conveys. So I still have to connect with those people too, because little customers and start, people that love the brand become customers down the road. So it's important that what I put out isn't just engaging to people who are in the cars now. It sells the lifestyle and the brand image for those that maybe aren't there yet, or that one day, want to get there. Because for all the customers that we sell cars to, it's either a life-affirming purchase of the success that they've achieved in life, if it's their first, or it's a continuation of a high quality and a high grade of service that they've come to expect, being a repeat luxury shopper. So it's important that I'm not only connecting with our customers that we have now, but I'm doing everything I can to sell the dream to those who aren't customers just yet, and being as approachable as possible for those that maybe think that they aren't quite ready to make the plunge into a high-end automobile. So to go off that, I'll talk a little bit about the content that we kind of create to satisfy some of those tiers. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, we do the standard stuff. And by standard stuff, I mean the new product launches, the spy photos of the new Porsche 911 that's driving around a test track, content that's out there in the world that's exciting for people, about the cars, the brand new stuff that's coming out, the brand new Range Rover just arrived on the showroom floor. Here, check it out. That stuff's easy, and that's generally some of the most engaged stuff that we develop for our customers, because they're interested to see, when is that new car coming out? What's, it going to look like? I'm 2 or 3 years out. Should I wait? Should I, move up into one right now? Is it going to be worth it? So that's kind of the easy stuff. Then we move into the lifestyle related items. So interacting with our customers in the basis of, it's not just the automobiles, but it's kind of one component of their whole luxury life. So we do a lot in the vertical of events. So we'll do a lot of parties. Like we'll do an art fair party that we did last year. We'll rent out a whole ballroom down at the Intercontinental Hotel on the Plaza for the Plaza Art Fair, and we offered food and drink and free parking for anybody who wanted to go to the art fair. And then we sold, we published all of that through our social media and digital avenues, and it was all free. So our customers, or even those brand aspirational people, got to live a night like they were an absolute VIP and absolutely bathed in luxury. Showed up to the Intercontinental and
Yeah.
parking space. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you made him feel special. Everybody likes to feel special.
Absolutely. I mean, have you parked at the Plaza Art Fair? It's a nightmare.
It is.
All of our customers free parking at the Intercontinental, a huge party and an open bar, and then everybody got to walk down to the art fair and see that. So,
Yeah.
Giving a little special experience to everybody, not just the people who had purchased cars.
That's great.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, we do a lot of contests for our aspirational or buyers that are kind of coming into the brand. And we'll do like luxury weekend giveaways, because it's really, really easy for us and our partners to play like a Mercedes-Benz night, a dinner on the Plaza, and a hotel at the Raphael Hotel for a weekend. That's not that expensive for us to put together as a contest or a thing, but it's not just saying like our page and we'll give you this free thing or you'll be chosen. It's the free thing, or the thing that we're giving away is involving them into the kind of lifestyle that our existing customers and our hopeful customers, imagine that it's like. So even the payoff itself is kind of tied into the brand.
Cool.
And then more intermittently, so maybe twice a year or every year, we'll do large-scale social media challenges. I don't know if you followed along with a couple of these, but we've done some stunt related material where, like for instance, last February, a year and a half ago, I raced a Jaguar sedan against an Amtrak train from Kansas City to Chicago, and we tweeted about it and had some people on board the car representing online. But we hosted this whole challenge in real time, and people could follow along as this Jaguar sedan raced this train all the way from Kansas City to Chicago. And Matt Staub, one of my friends who's very transit centric, was on the train and tweeting as well. And we got some huge brands to kind of chime in. Jaguar obviously jumped in, but Amtrak got on, and they weren't even aware of it until the day of. And we had all these national people interacting and watching this kind of race unfold, because it was cool and engaging, and it kind of it highlighted some features and things about the vehicle that we wanted, and also kind of added to this lifestyle of, oh yes, we're going to race a train across the country kind of attitude that want to convey.
Right, right. Well, and that, the next thing that we were going to discuss is, creating lifelong relationships with your customer base. And I think that all of this ties in really, I mean, what we were just talking about was your content mix and how you come, how you determine that. But I think that all of this plays into creating this affinity for the brand and this excitement about the brand and the passion about the brands. That you sell. So it becomes more than just selling cars. It's just really people feel a connection and they want to be a part of what you're doing, and they want to be a part of it maybe even before they make a purchase, and they want to, and after they make, I mean, they just stay connected to you. And I think that's that's what people are looking for, So
Yeah,
that's really
absolutely.
so that's really interesting. Is there anything else on that point that we didn't cover in terms of taking social beyond just selling cars? I feel like we kind of covered that, but I want to make sure there wasn't anything else that you wanted to talk about.
I mean, we've got a lot of really, really great partners that help us on social and help us amplify our message and really get out to the community. We're very fortunate with partnering with organizations like Sleepyhead Beds, the Kauffman Center for the Performing Arts, the Kansas City Ballet, and a variety of really, really Kansas City-centric charities and organizations that we have the opportunity to help out, whether it's through communication to our customers, through support of those organizations, and they do a great job really, really helping us expand our message out and be in front of our customers in the areas when they're not shopping for a car, when they're having a night at the Kauffman Center, or they're at the Midland Theater watching a show. We get a great opportunity to be in front of them there, and they definitely help us in that respect.
That's cool. Let's talk a little bit about the online space and customer service issues. And things aren't, as any of us who live and breathe in the social space, we know that things are not always rosy and wonderful. And,
Yes, of course.
and there are many times that they are. But let's talk a little bit about, how you use the social media space for customer service. Maybe if you have any tricks or tools that you use in terms of monitoring and insights, we'd love to hear about that. And I would love to hear, about some positive things, and I would love to hear an example of something negative that happened and how you discovered it and what you did about it. I think that's the kind of actionable insights that people are always looking to hear more about.
Yeah, yeah, it's really neat how everything's changed. We've had so much interaction over the last couple of years with our customers digitally. It's been almost overwhelming at first. What we typically do, and this is either in a happy or rosy situation, is it's important to have a plan. So we have a comment response chart drawn up and all set to go that we have went over many, many times. And basically, just to give you a little behind the scenes, what happens when we detect that somebody, and I'll go over kind of some of the ways we detect, but whenever we detect that somebody has had a not so nice experience, what we do is we escalate it immediately. And it gets escalated, and this is very, very thankful for me based on the amount of buy-in I get from my boss and from our management team. It gets escalated immediately to where our marketing manager, myself, and our vice president all see the comment immediately. So whether it's whichever person sees it, the first step in that is to share it with the other two and immediately come up with a game plan. We have some boilerplate responses that are generally designed based either on if we have enough information to determine who the person is through our CRM or whatever, we won't ask for it digitally. We'll just say, okay, we're looking into this, sorry for the inconvenience. And we'll go to town finding that person and their contact information within our own systems. If we can't figure out who it is based on, their comment, maybe they have a, obscure handle or they have not alluded themselves, we'll say, hey, again, sorry for the inconvenience or whatever we goofed on. Can you give us your contact information so we can get some more information from you? And as a general best practice, we really, really try to take that stuff offline, specifically because the details of the interaction are so crucial that we need to make sure we get them right. They can't necessarily be communicated in 140 characters, and our customers' privacy is like our number one goal overall. So we want to make sure that the overall details of what occurred happen offline, and we can figure out what the problem was. So once that's occurred, then we can go to work getting in touch with the customer and finding out exactly where we went wrong. What, whether it was a sales issue, where, they felt like they weren't helped in time, or it was a service issue where, maybe something didn't get fixed right the first time. But we do a couple little tricks to identify them. We get a majority of our concerns or complaints via actually the form on our website, which is pretty straightforward.
Right.
And those all get answered within 7 to 8 minutes is our average lead response time on those. And then what we'll do on social is I'll use like a geo-targeted Hootsuite a stream to look for anybody mentioning our brands locally in the market. So it'll, for the Kansas City metro area, who's mentioning Land Rover, Jaguar, Porsche, etc. And a lot of the comments are unrelated and just fly by. But if there's somebody who makes a mention, without even tagging one of the dealerships, I'll be able to reach out and say, hey, I saw this, I'm sorry we didn't go do exactly what we thought. Can we go a little bit deeper? And then every once in a while, someone is tweeting the lyrics from Nelly's Country Grammar, and then that includes the word Range Rover, and I'll respond with the verse that comes right afterwards with our handle, just to let them know, we love Nelly here too, even though it's from Nelly.
I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So,
And yeah, go ahead.
Tell me about something bad that happened. Somebody was super pissed off, and how you got them happy again.
Okay, so let me think if there's a particular one that we had. Oh, yeah, so we have Mercedes-Benz has released a $29,900 car. It's the least expensive Mercedes, like inflation adjusted, actually total price ever sold. So they're really trying to move to a younger demographic for Mercedes-Benz to start building the brand from the ground up, so that later, people will move up the chain and buy the models that are a little more expensive than cars that I can buy. So when we launched the Mercedes-Benz CLA, $29,000, $900 car, we knew we were going to get a lot more feedback digitally from the customers than any other car that we've ever had for sale before, because this was an age demographic that the car was targeted at that is much more, on social, quick to respond, quick to tell their friends, all that, incredible stuff. And we actually had a customer that online did exactly what the opposite of we were hoping would happen. So they came into the showroom, and whether it was because we were really busy or maybe we dropped the ball, they felt like because they were young that no one gave them the time of day, that no one was forthcoming to help them. And again, we try to help every customer that comes in the door, and it may have just been a case of everybody was with somebody on a busy day, but we took that to heart, and we actually arranged to have the vehicle delivered to their house so that they could view the car in the safety of their own apartment complex. And then they turned around and gave us some great shout outs because of that, to say, hey, you took this negative of me walking out the door and saying nobody helped me, and you listened to it immediately and got a vehicle out so that I could take a look at it. So we were very fortunate to catch it quickly and to be able to make it right. So.
Well, and sometimes those are small things, but that one little act goes such a long way to creating really loyal brand enthusiasts and great sentiment about a brand. And I feel like there was a story once. Maybe I'm totally pulling this out of my memory banks, which is always tricky. But I feel like there was a story that I read once of somebody that had car trouble or something, and that you were listening and sent somebody right away to help them or something like that. Am I crazy about that?
We've had situations where we'll catch somebody with a breakdown through one of our digital channels, and we'll deploy a roadside unit.
And it's maybe not even your customer.
Oh, no, they just have to have one of the brands we sell in the area. So that was very quick. I actually I had one of my customer service staff on a service customer. They were on the phone with somebody setting up for service, and we couldn't get them in. They wanted in like today, and we were booked out for like 2 or 3 days. And they're like, I got to get in today. My daughter's due date is tomorrow. I can't get away from it. I can't do it. It's not going to work.
I need my car.
Yeah, I need my car fixed. I need this done. We didn't have the manpower to get it done, and it wasn't a service item. Nothing was booked. It was a maintenance item, so to get just general service done, that can usually wait 1 or 2 days. But what we ended up doing was our customer service representative set up a driver to come pick up the vehicle from their house, leave a loaner vehicle with them so they didn't have to leave, brought the vehicle in, we did the service and everything, and then also through Porsche, we ordered a little baby onesie that said future Porsche owner, and we put that in the car and then redelivered it to the customer. And then this lady could not stop talking about it, because, it was a little thing, and it's somebody that our customer service center, caught, on the phone and was like, hey, Chris, can we do this? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so it was, recognizing that and being able to not just go get the car and do the service, any dealership can do that, but to take it a step higher and to say, not only did we work around your schedule, we listened to why your schedule was that way, and we did something extra special for that.
And it's funny, I talk about this a lot when I speak. It's such a tiny little thing, and all it really is caring enough to pay attention and to just, go that tiny little bit extra. And that's what differentiates you from anybody else. I think it's so important. And so it sounds like, obviously you get that from a customer care, customer experience standpoint. It sounds like your customer service team does as well. And I think that's a part of the equation that's missing in a lot of instances. So.
Well, you have to create the environment where they can wow the customer. I mean, there's so many organizations that there's no latitude whatsoever for customer service reps to do anything, to even think, let alone make a decision that involves spending money or something like that. So it's important for me that I give them the tools they really need to create those experiences. For one thing, and this is very specific, all of them are empowered to spend $50 on our company Amex, and the Amex is printed in a folder behind secure doors. It's not just sitting out, but it's printed on a folder, and they're empowered to just go spend money. Like, ask me later, they're not going to get in trouble. Here's the Amex card number, just go spend $50, or less, and I challenge them to be creative about it. They don't have to spend money. I mean, there's stuff that they can do that doesn't involve us spending any money at all, but it's to give them the feeling and the freedom that they have the opportunity to go out and do this without needing to check with me. I mean, I'm all over. We've got, 3 properties, and, I'm traveling between all of them and everything. These little special moments occur in time frames that are so quick and need to be done so rapidly that it doesn't work if they have to ask me. So, setting that up is one thing. The other thing we do is we gamify it. I mean, we do a quarterly challenge where the best stories that they can create from a wow expectation, we'll vote on who has the best one, and then we'll give them like a Mercedes for the weekend, or, dinner at Capitol Grill, or something, nice for them. Because it's so important that they experience the luxury and feel like a valued person if they're going to go out and communicate that to the customers, and really shine that through the phone.
That's awesome. Those are such great ideas. I love it. I love it. Well, I think this has been awesome. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you think that's important that you want to share?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot we haven't talked about that's important, but it's just I just feel very fortunate to work around the people that I work with, and while I can kind of push stuff in one direction, it's so important that our team meets and has open, no bad idea sessions to develop ideas and to try new things and to keep experimenting. Because just as a basis of my own experience, and everyone says, oh, experience is great. We hire people with lots of experience because of experience, and this just as well as I do, because of all of our experience in life, the pathways in our brain are formed to a way that we don't have the opportunity necessarily to see a simple solution or a great opportunity, because we're not new to the business, or we're not new to marketing or communications, and that the next great idea may come from somebody who's brand new into the business or brand new into the space. Right. So it's really important for me and my team to be very open and be very honest about, here's the problems we're having, what are some ideas for solving it, and let's try them out. If that doesn't work, we'll experiment and try again.
So who participates in these no bad idea sessions? Is it your marketing team? Is it your customer service team? Is it both? Is it everybody together? Is it separately? What is that?
So I have 2 of these a week, and they're separated by sales related items and service. So our internet team meets once a week, and we have an open air discussion of challenges we're facing that week. We talk about, first thing to identify is, are they systemic, or are they, oh my gosh, this is in my face and bothering me right now thing? Because you'll notice people will bring up huge explosion problems that actually don't occur that often.
Right.
And the need to clarify, is this happening all the time, or is this just one thing that's an anomaly? And then we'll come up with creative ways to solve it, and we'll encourage them to go out and experiment and try it. And if it doesn't work a week later, we'll switch it up. We do the same thing on our customer service team, but we meet with representatives from service who are meeting the customers when they come in the dealership, so they're service advisors, and we talk about, okay, what challenges are you having when the customer arrives that we can help smooth over by setting them up better, by doing a better job scheduling the appointment, by getting more information. So we meet with all of the people that interact with the customer in the service experience, and then determine what parts of the process we can kind of tweak and make a little bit better. But it's important for everyone to be in the same room, so that the people that are addressing the concerns of the others are there to say it with them, so they'll be respectful, and that they can all throw out ideas on how to solve it. I don't have many standing rules in my department, but the one that I do is, if you have a problem and you feel it's big enough problem to bring it up to me, you are absolutely responsible to help find a solution for it. So there's no, this is my problem, somebody else fix it. Like, that's the standing rule that I have, is if you bring a problem up, it's now your baby. So
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's great. Well, you have shared some awesome insights and advice, Chris, and I really appreciate it. And it's always a pleasure hanging out with you in person or on the internet. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much. We'll
You're
talk
welcome.
again
Thank you for having
soon.
me.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. Everybody, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you again for V3 Live next week. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.